4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395. If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Got a deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Hey, I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation. If you don't like your life, then you should go and change it. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day.
Welcome again to an amazing episode of the Hybrid Life with Coach Greg. I just want to say that I am excited about this episode because we're going to talk about some stuff that I feel like everybody can relate to. Money, getting yourself into a free state of finance. You know, I mean, it sounds like that's an epidemic or pandemic. There we go, of sorts here in America. So I want to introduce my awesome guests, Miss Terri and Fernando Abellera. These two, I'm telling you, have a passion for educating people on how to be successful, not just a theory, but they have a actual method on how to be successful financially, and they're going to share their story of how they came from literally rags to riches. So welcome, y'all. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's our privilege to be here. Thank you for having us, Greg.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
an
an
honor.
honor to be in your presence. So when I jump right into it, you both are very, very, very successful with what you do, but that wasn't always the case. So I'd love to jump back to that wasn't always the case, and where did you start? What was the catalyst that started your drive to where you are?
Well, first, I'm not here from the country, right? So I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family, but when I was in the Philippines, Philippines is a third world country. It's a really hard life. So when I had the opportunity to come here, I told Fernando, I actually only had $20 in my pocket and one luggage that's beat up luggage, and tons of hundreds of thousands of pesos in debt just to make it here. So I told myself that we're not going to come here just to play around, right? We're here to change our lives in. But my goal was really to just save $5,000
$5,000.
$5,000.
I need 5,000.
Just $5,000 because I will be able to start my own internet cafe. Because a lot of kids in the Philippines during my time, this was in 2007, a lot of kids don't have access to computer.
Mm.
So I want to be able to provide that while having a safe space for them to study. Because I'm a study junkie. I've studied most of my life. So when I came here, never thought I was gonna meet this guy. Right?
This guy.
This guy,
I changed it
right?
all. I changed it all.
So he saved me from that, and we when we met, he proposed after a month, and don't copy this. By the way, disclaimer. 3 months later, we're married.
Wow.
But this was 2008.
Wow.
2008 when we met.
Yeah.
And a month after meeting, yeah, we're like, okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
All right, I guess
Yeah,
you were like,
yeah.
we're gonna do this.
Well, me as an individual, I do everything fast. We're gonna do it anyways. We might as well do it now, right?
Yeah.
So I was like that when I met Terri, and I was, she was more shocked than I was, but growing up in the streets of California, which where I grew up, like my family's still not wealthy to today, so if it needed to start with someone, it was going to start with me.
Mm.
Right.
And meeting Terri, she was really the catalyst for us to do it right while doing it big.
Yeah.
And when we came together, like still to this day, sometimes we're not on the same page. Nothing's perfect. I really feel that perfection is boring. So I wasn't looking for the perfect wife because I'm not the perfect person. That's a whole nother story. But but what we did is we brought together our strengths, and we just accent each other. We're total opposites. She'll say that. Not only that, we came from opposite sides of the world. She's from the Philippines, over 8,000 miles away. She's third world, I'm first world, and we still love each other.
Wow. Yeah.
But man, yeah. But when we met, so it's 2008, right?
Yeah.
Economy's crashing.
Exactly.
It was crazy. So I lost my my status.
Mm.
And
So your status.
my visa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, no, you're not going back to the Philippines. We're gonna figure it out.
Wow.
And he didn't have a job.
Wow.
So how do we figure it out,
I
right?
just lost my job
He
because
just
of
lost his
2008.
job.
Oh my god.
He was a foreman. He was doing
Yeah,
construction.
we used to build multi-million-dollar custom homes. There weren't those 8-month spec homes. They were
Right.
They were the customs. And what happened? 2008 hit, and man, this stud here was not too studly. Let me just say, I was out of a job. 2008, markets crashed. Banks weren't giving disbursements, so there was no work. And then, still going forward, I met Terri. I literally, at the age of 30, and I'm very humble to say this because it's real. But at the age of 30, I had to go back home and live with my
Oh
dad.
wow.
But I'm 30 years old. My parents didn't have an extra bedroom.
Mhm.
I went back home and I stayed in the living room.
Mm.
So I'm just fortunate for that. And not only that, I was bringing my bride home as well. She stayed with me in the living room. Talk about starting from scratch.
Oh my goodness.
Not only that, she was pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
we had
can
two
relate
hundred
to
dollars.
that.
We had
Yeah.
$200 together, and majority of that went towards our wedding
Wow.
from civil
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah, right,
Literally.
right. just to put your name on the dotted line, right?
Right, right.
That's all we're going.
So
So
that's how we started.
so you have basically nothing. You're in your parents' living room, right? You're pregnant. So where did the direction come from? Like what was that catalyst or person that turned you on to what you're doing now, how you're helping people?
It's just that Fernando has such a huge heart. I mean, it's been 15 years we've been providing for my family in the Philippines, regardless if we were making $700 a month
Mm.
or $50,000 a month. We've always supported them, right? So we when I finally got my papers. Took us 2 years to save money so he can help me be here and have citizenship and
Right.
residency. I was able to work. He became a truck driver, which he didn't like the job.
I had to do things
And
I didn't
I
like.
was able,
I
yeah.
had to do things I
So
didn't
I
like.
was able to work for a skilled nursing facility. I worked for the school district first, shortly, very short period because my educational background is BS chemistry teaching.
Mm.
So I've always wanted to teach, right? But I found out in the US, bless the teachers' hearts, but couldn't pay our bills, right?
Mm.
It was just really difficult. And I grew up in a private Catholic school setting, and it just blows my mind how the school setting was. So I couldn't do that. So I was able to work for a skilled nursing facility, and I was the admissions director there for almost 5 years. And the catalyst was I came home one day. I had this patient who is a doctor where I used to work. Oh, wait, not where I used to work. So in the in the county where I used to work. So we knew him. He's a
Yeah.
doctor, and he was diagnosed with a debilitating disease. It's multiple sclerosis.
Mm.
And after a short few years, I got a referral because my job was to evaluate patients. I was trained like a nurse. So my job was to evaluate patients from their homes, the different hospitals all over the Bay Area, from other assisted living facilities, residential care homes, care homes, right? And I got this referral, was a doctor, and I had to have a discussion with my boss at the time, with my executive, because she wanted me to put him in a room that is not semi private room, and with
Mm.
some patients who are not lucid, not alert oriented, like some one of them screaming all day long. And I was,
Oh no.
"Well, why are we going to put him here? Well, he's on Medicaid here, but it's medical in the Philippines, right? I mean, in the Philippines, in California." And I was like, "Can we please put him in a semi-private room?" And she's like, "All right, like, let's find more patients to fill this room." And the reason I'm sharing that is this is a doctor who worked all his life
Yeah.
to serve the community and make good living, you know, homes facing the water, beautiful, beautiful home in the west side. And here we are on the day of his transfer, the very last day he's gonna live in his home, and he's going to be transferred from his beautiful home to our facility because his wife can no longer take care of him because it's advanced, right?
Right.
It's he needed total care. And the wife called me that morning when he's going to be transferred in the afternoon and asked me, "Terry, can your facility van, which is a wheelchair van, can your van pick up my husband?" And I said, "Well, the doctor's orders for him to be transferred through a non-emergency ambulance transport. So the ambulance has to transfer him, right?
Yeah.
But it's not emergency. So what does it mean?
You
Uh,
got to pay for that.
gotta pay for it." She
Yeah.
said, "Terry, you
Like
don't
right up
understand.
front.
Terry, you don't understand. I don't have money for that transport for my husband.
Wow.
And this is a doctor,
Wow.
like well-known family,
Wow.
right?
So I just want to kind of just point out the gravity of that,
Mhm.
like this is a individual that, like you said, has put in a lot of years helping a lot of people as a doctor. And it makes doctor money,
Yeah.
has a nice living,
Mhm.
and has this illness now. And then his wife has to say, like, I don't have the money to
Mhm.
take care of him,
Right.
like, wow, like, how do you where do you go from that point? Like, what do
Right.
you do at that point? That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
And I've seen that. And so that day I told Fernando, I came home, I'm a little bit worn out, from all of that. And that's what I see. I used to see every single day in that job. Right. And I told him, "Honey, if this doctor hasn't figured it out, we better, like you and I, like our kids, like our family, we have to understand what we need to do."
Yeah.
Because I've seen nurses, doctors, CPA, accountants, engineers. It varies. People who can pay for care and people who cannot.
Right.
So I told him we have to understand financial literacy. And a few months later, here comes my friend, who is the godmother of my son, Joanne. We've been friends for 23 years now. She's been a dear friend of mine. So she's also the one who helped me come to the US. And she said, "Terry, can you please help me with my training?" "Well, what do you mean training? You're a teacher." I said, "No, no, no. I started, doing this part time so I can let go of my caregiving job during the weekends, and maybe I can transition from teaching to doing this." Because she felt compelled that this is teaching, providing great education
Right,
for everyone.
right.
So what is it about? Well, and the broke people we are, skeptical people.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are.
Like, wait.
And I was like,
How much money?
Fernando's like, Terry, if your friend, which he knew, if Joanne and her friend comes here and sell us something, they're out the door. And I'm not gonna
Not
be,
kidding.
yeah, I'm not gonna be ashamed to tell them to kick him out. I'm telling you, I just want to let you know. And they heard it on the phone, right? So, did you hear that? And she's like, we heard it. We're so scared.
They're probably like, what a jerk.
and here they come that Thursday night. I will never forget. Claudia Hernandez there, Joanne, and she's in training, right? Because she wanted to make a transition, do different things. She used to work for Wells, for a bank. Claudia and Joanne is a teacher, so laid it all out, the education, and we looked at each other, and Fernando's like, this is crazy. We were just talking about it. I was like, what do you mean taxes? Right? What is that? Right?
Yeah.
So honey, this is, so he's like, he pulled out all of our pay stubs, our bank accounts, our insurance, our retirement. He pulled them all out. I
Everything.
was like, what happened to, like, we're gonna kick him out of the house when they come? And it just totally made sense.
Yeah.
Never looked back.
So how did
September 28th of 2013. We never looked back from that day.
20? Wow. So how did that feel in that moment when all of your your information is kind of being laid out in front of you, like, hey, this is where you're at,
Mhm.
like financially, this is where you're at, what did you think, when you saw all of it laid out for the first time?
Well, that's a
It hurt.
yeah, it did. And that's a great question because Terry's very spontaneous, very like outgoing, like she'll jump off the cliff and build the parachute on the way down. That's
I love it.
me.
Yeah.
me, I gotta look over just to make sure I see the floor, and then I gotta touch
Measure
it
it.
with my toe, measure it, think it all, overthink it. But no, when I laid it all out, because the message they shared, see, I'm a rational, logical person by nature.
Yeah.
So it made sense. So I brought it all out, and they explained what we had, and I'll never forget it. And I didn't believe it at first, but Claudia said, "Do you know at the age of 72 that you're only worth about $17,000?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm putting in this much and this long, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense." She literally got the book. She said, "Well, if you see right here," and it was what it was, and I'm just like, "Help me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help me.
That's how we felt.
Wow.
And it
Please
hurt.
help us.
Yeah.
Like, we
The
need
truth
your help.
hurt.
Because I mean, we bank with
Many banks.
banks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And never got a phone call. Hey, I'd like 10-15 minutes. You have this money in here. Not a lot at the time, right? And maybe I can teach you how to make that grow and do something with it, and
that's such
build
a
wealth. Never got those
Yeah.
phone calls.
They didn't
That's
even
such a
know
good
us.
point. That's such a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That is such a good point. Your bank doesn't call you and
Yeah.
say,
It's
"Hey,
really sad.
here's I'm looking at your account with us. Hey, I wanted to give you some information on how you can grow this money, how you can make this money do what it needs to do, and set yourself free." Like, I've never got a call from my bank with that information ever. That's such a great point. Oh my
Yep,
goodness. Oh my goodness. So after you see all this and you're like, oh my gosh, we need help, what was then your next step, like after you saw it and it hurts and it's like, wow, what are we gonna do now? Like, where was that? What are we gonna do now?
Well,
What did you do?
first, when I said help us, they literally took it away. They took it away. They took the opportunity away. Well, we need to go back to the office. We need to run some numbers so we can have an accurate analysis for you. And me being the microwave mind that I had at that moment, I'm like, I need help now. And they're like, no, we got to schedule a follow. I mean, it was the
good.
most proper thing to do. But as Terry said, like, what happened to kicking them out? Like
Yeah.
It just when it made sense, I was just like, help me. And I'm just so thankful that they just didn't kind of put a Band-Aid solution, like, oh, here you go, like you're good. They, Claudia and Joanne actually went back to the office. They really dissected our numbers, our goals, our dreams, what we wanted. We have kids, so they asked all those questions to put the package together of where we wanted to start.
And they didn't charge us anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and their time and efforts, it didn't cost us anything.
I was like, are you sure you're not going to charge us?
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, no, just, if you can think of people who benefit from this information, just let them know. That's the best compliment you could ever give us.
I love that.
I was like, wow, everybody should know about it. Like, that's how we felt about it. And they came back a week later, right? So they have the numbers and all that. So we felt so good that we were not sold anything. We felt so good that they took the time to educate us and help us understand what we could do right then and there, how to make things better for us and our family. So we felt like we're not just numbers. We're not just like, right.
You made friends, made friends.
So,
yeah.
And we're just so grateful for them. Until today, we're all good friends. We're going to see each other at the end of this month. And we do life together now. And that day she's like, you're in healthcare, Terry. You're almost like trained like a nurse. How do you feel doing the same exact thing for the people you care about or people you think this could help other people? I was like, absolutely. Like, my coworkers need this and the families of my patients need this. And she said, well, how would you feel about being licensed and all that? Right. So that's when we started looking into it. Just imagine if you could make extra income, how much you would like to make. Like at that time, it's like extra $1,000 will be amazing, right?
Just $1,000, that's all. That's all. Just a little extra 1,000. That would be awesome.
Extra 1,000 could allow us to, save money. And then I had a dual career. I was an admissions director, and then I was doing this on a part-time basis in the evening. And while I'm transitioning, just so grateful for the community at that time, like Joko communities, right? So
exactly.
So grateful because the doctors I would work with and the case managers at the hospital and the nurses and, the CNAs and all of our friends were so supportive of what I was doing. I'm just so grateful for that. With a training program that I was going through, they're all supportive. And actually, majority of them became good clients until today.
Wow.
And I was training. I was like, I didn't even know what I was doing at that time in the beginning, right? But I mean, we always had the support from Claudia and Joanna. They review it. I said, okay, so they knew I was learning.
Yeah,
they're open for it.
How
awesome
it.
is that?
That is beautiful. Open minds are
super
absolutely imperative. That's awesome.
And his family is very supportive. Some of them were supportive. And then I was actually able to replace my full-time income doing it part-time. And then that's it. We never looked back.
Wow. Wow. So we have a pretty awesome snapshot of, where you come from and how that process started. So what is your right now look like? What is the way that you live and how has that changed since you started this process and you went through all of this?
Wow.
It's still pinching myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wake up, I don't want anyone to feel bothered by it, but I don't wake up from an alarm clock. I wake up when my eyes open up, but I don't sleep all day either. But I don't have a boss. I have a wife, I say. She's amazing.
Heck yeah.
That's so much better.
But like now, especially we have 3 kids, 21, 18, and 13, Our kids aren't perfect, but they're perfect enough for me, and we love them. But we get to go to the park. We go to lunch. Like before, I used to work 6 days a week for someone else, 65 hours minimum, driving over 400 miles a day in a big rig in the Bay Area, California. So I call it a 180 difference. And with our faith, it just probably the biggest thing. We've always helped her family, and and that means the world to them. But now, just being charitable now, being able to give without feeling the pressure of what are we not going to have?
Right.
It's a 180. It's like, what more can we give? What more can we do? just the feeling of that, and then as we train associates, business partners within our industry, time is very valuable. I mean, to be really honest, but we pour a lot of time, energy, and money into into the people we work with, whether they're a client or a business partner, colleague. But we really know that givers gain, and we embrace that. And we know in the atmosphere of being an entrepreneur, we also embrace adversity. I don't go around asking for trouble, but I don't run from it, because we know in every adversity there is a seed, which is a blessing, as much as, or I believe more than, the adversity we went through. So instead of running from adversity, we actually run through it, not to it, but through it.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Well, just
What
imagine
would you say,
this.
honey?
Well, from where we were before I came here, I was making in the Philippines $100 a month. Wow! And
Baller.
what we were saying, right? Like literally, you have more months than money, because
Yeah.
I would buy the best milk for my son, and that's already 1,500, because 400 is at that time is like 4,500
Wow.
pesos, right? So 1,500 already goes to his milk. So there's more month than money. And when we met, we're beyond broke, literally, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
when we got married, it took him a couple weeks to get a job, and he was making $700 a month.
Dang.
So we pay for the electricity bill and some food, but we had like that's kind of like our
Right.
our contribution for the house. Now we lived with his mom and stepdad. Now we have his stepdad living with us,
We take
and
care of all them.
we get to
That's such a beautiful switch there.
right.
Like the people that once took care of you, now you can take very well care of them.
Right.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And what it really took, from what I'm gathering, is that you made a decision to
Mhm.
make a difference.
Right.
You made a decision to make a difference, not only in your lives, but do as much as you possibly can to help change the lives of every single person you interact with. That's a staple in what I do, in everything that I'm about, and that's why we're so close friends. That's why
Yeah.
we've come together. It's all about the helping more people,
Right.
and that energy it's always reciprocated. It always comes right back. And it's not like, hey, I'm going to help you so I can get something. It's I want to
Right.
help you because that makes me feel good. It doesn't feel good when I've been in positions where, like, I know that I'm getting an unfair benefit. It
Right.
doesn't feel good. Like
Yeah.
I might have some money in my pocket, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't feel proud of that.
Yeah.
I feel proud of being able to walk away and see like a sparkle in somebody's eyes because I gave them something. It's beautiful, and I love that that's what you do for finances, for like the biggest problem in so many people's lives is helping understand what money is.
Absolutely.
It's great segue into the break. We'll be right back.
I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day.
All right, all right. Welcome back. So some technical difficulties. It's okay.
Perfect.
No worries, no worries. We're gonna run back right through it. So, um, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-839-4245. Again, that is 844-839-4245. Make sure you check out the Tiffy.com. Make sure you get all of the cute and fashionable objects there because she's got it there. Anyways, we're back on an exciting episode of Hybrid Life with Coach Greg with my guests Terri and Fernando Abellera. We're gonna jump right back into where we left off, and Terri, on the break we were talking about your story with some health troubles that you went through, and how, I mean, I say health troubles, it's like, well, let's just have you get into that, like explain what health troubles that were, and how you were able to come out of that sitting here in front of us.
Right. Well, what we learned from our mentor, Rich Tholley, he said, in order to help the poor is to not be one,
Mm.
right? So, and she also, our one of our mentors, Sandra Olson, said, if people think that money isn't important, maybe they haven't given it away.
Mm.
So that's kind of like one of the things that we live by. But when I was 36, almost no 3 years ago,
Yeah, 3 years ago.
thank God we learned all of the concepts that we're living by right now, right? It still could get better, where, life is going to be boring, if Fernando says, if it's perfect. So there's a lot of things
Yeah.
that we could still better at, but thank God we're able to put to work what we've learned. And when I was 36 years old in 2019, July 22nd, I was having some symptoms. My hips hurting, my legs like cramping, and it's never going away. And I was, you know, bleeding and all that. So it's out of my baseline. So I went to my doctor, and she said, Terry, there's a lot of irritation in your cervix, so I need you to really go to see your OB/GYN, which I haven't seen like in 3 years, because I've always just seen my regular practitioner. And when I saw my OB/GYN that day, she's like, "So what are you here? Oh, regular checkup." I said, "All right, well, we'll just, usual, just usual. We'll
Yeah.
check you up, la la la." And while she's examining me, she left the examination room, ran out of the door, like rush. I was by myself, and she brought another nurse, and she brought another medical assistant, and she gave me a hug, and she told me, Terry, we're gonna do biopsy right now. And I looked at her, what do you mean biopsy? I just want to let you know you don't have 80% chance of cancer, 50% chance of cancer. You have 80% chance of cancer.
Wow.
I said, what do you mean? What are you saying? I'm fine. I said, no, we have to rush this. So I was in a meeting, and I got that phone call and said, you need to go back to the clinic, and please bring someone with you, because
That
we need
was-
to
That was
tell
like
you
3 days later.
2 days
Yeah,
later.
2 days
Because
later.
we're
they
gonna
rushed
give
that
you the-
biopsy.
So
Wow.
here we are, finally getting, our lives, in a better place. We're finally, you know, things are better, right? And uh, Fernando's going full time with me. Dropping off the kids. The kids are healthy, doing really good in school, and all of those things. When things are going well, I feel like the devil is always there to stop
Mm.
you from the next
Yeah.
level.
Trip. Yeah.
Yep. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And I was diagnosed with cancer. So the doctor said, I went to UCSF, because my oncologist said, try to not stay local. I'm not sure how advanced it is. So you have to go to Stanford or UCSF. So I went to UCSF, and we're always there, right? Always going to doctor's appointments and treatments. And the main thing of these patients were like, they're so worried about going to work, so
Mm.
worried about how they're gonna pay their bills because they can't work. A lot of them are going through chemo and radiation and have to go back to work because they have to make money.
Right.
So thank God we put in, we put into work what we've learned. And so we have living benefits, we have tax-free retirement savings, we have all of those things. But good thing I have the living benefits that were like, maybe this is the right time to use them.
Mhm.
And I literally was one of the very few stories from, actually maybe in that stories within that batch of cancer patients who are not worried about having to work at that time because we have the living benefits.
Hmm.
So meaning I have this coverage wherein if I get sick, I can actually use it tax free, and we're able to pull out about $250,000. So it literally allowed us to take care of me and not have to worry about work and just focus on Terry being getting better.
Yeah,
Wow.
And Terry had to, not only getting better, she actually had to learn how to walk again.
Oh my
We
goodness.
only saved about almost $1,800 in that plan,
Wow.
and I was able to use that tax free and
So
don't have
so
to.
when you had, when you're in the OBGYN and you like, she came and said, and he hugged you and said and told you this news,
Mhm.
and 3 days afterwards, and understanding, yeah, like this isn't a drill,
Mhm.
like how did that feel? Like what was the thoughts going through your mind at that point, when you knew like this is something that is real and I have it.
The uncertainty. There was
For
there was there was
that's a good question, and like I felt really, you know, I I want to be honest, as a husband, as a man, I was scared too. I could just imagine how she felt, but
Mhm.
Terry is something else. She's got a big heart, but she's something else. She's very humble, but at the same time, although we were really shook for a month in the month of August. Like we were kind of like shook up here,
Mhm.
but with what we've been learning, having mentors, personal development, just the type of people we are. We always run, like always, um, uh, always do. We're always doing what works next, but we literally worked in within our business until the night before she had her surgery.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
for me, it was, man, I need to get to reach to more people.
Right.
Like they have to know that, it could happen to anybody. I
Right.
literally just had surgery and Claudia visited.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
Claudia.
She was in the
And she
hospital.
visited. I was barely like, lucid because from all of the pain
Right.
medications I
Right.
had.
Anesthesia.
And I have the laptop in front of me. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, I can't tell my clients I haven't told them I'm sick. So I'm helping them with the living benefits too. I was like, "You are crazy, woman." She took the computer from me. You're not gonna do this. Like, focus. I just felt like, I'm on vacation.
Yeah,
Like, and I love my occupation, right? I just feel
Oh, I
like
love it.
it wasn't where I just wanted to, like, what if it happens to them too? I have to make sure that it's all set up for them. And
Mm.
the best thing my clients give me is their support and their referrals. I 9 years never had to do cold calling or door to door, not anything like that.
Wow.
It's all referrals, word of mouth, because of the service that we give them. And she took the computer away, but we're kind of like tough people. Nobody kind of like really see us cry. It's all behind the
I
scenes.
feel
We
that.
always tell people that you see this, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes,
Right,
right?
right.
We kept going.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
could be complete chaos happening for us, but it's going to sound counter, like catch 22, but it's almost like a controlled chaos we have.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell the kids. The kids
Yeah,
didn't
our
know.
kids didn't know
Wow.
until
Yeah,
we
they-
saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
We told them after.
Wow.
We're like, okay, we're actually in recovery. And
So, guys,
what?
this is what just happened. Yeah. By the way, I almost just died. No worries. I'm still here. It's okay.
Exactly. I'm like, what did you tell us? We could have.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
no, we knew you're not gonna do
Yeah, the
suicide.
doctor literally told us that day. Well, told her. I was just sitting there, and the doctor said, if left untreated, you won't make it 12 months.
Wow.
Mhm.
That rocked us.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then to have that's the understanding, or I guess I mean, did you even like think about that in the first, month or whatever when you were rocked about, the fact that you do have the living benefits that, like was
No,
that like when did you be like, "Oh, wait, wait, we have this," when was that
maybe
epiphany?
maybe a couple months.
Yeah, a couple of
We
months.
didn't
Oh,
even think about
You
it
know,
because we were just
wow.
so focused, like, what's gonna happen?
yeah,
How do we
Am
carve
I
out
going to be
time?
alive?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I want to spend time with the kids. Things that you think
absolutely.
about it. Just what's gonna happen, right? Well, am I gonna be here? Let's do our living will, living trust,
Yeah.
because when I'm gone, I want to make sure my kids get my share and not
Oh
the
my
new
goodness.
wife. Just so we even like laugh about it. I love you. You can remarry, but my share goes to my kids, not to the to the next wife. Bro, he even had to take care of all.
Oh,
We took care of
Uh,
those stuff.
my
Yeah.
goodness. I can't imagine, just kind of hearing that, putting myself in that position, like having a piece of paper writing out, this is what I want to happen
Mhm.
when I pass. Um, you know, there's a lot of us that are listening that, you might have a living will, or maybe you've heard of it, but I can't even put my head around, sitting out writing your living will, having a high chance that you might be
Mhm.
utilizing this, or your family, rather,
Mhm.
might be utilizing this within, a couple months.
Yeah.
Like that's heavy.
That's where we were.
That's heavy. But then to laugh about it, be like, oh, by the way, you make sure that this goes to the kids and not the next one, okay?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can always have a good time. It's we only have one life.
Right,
If
right,
we live it to the fullest, one is enough.
right,
One
right.
is enough. And 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 what we have grown towards, still to this day, before, during, and after, even now, it's not about Terry and I.
Hmm.
It's not about us. It's never been
Mhm.
about us. And when it was, we were stuck because it's just us right here. But but when we got outside of ourselves, yeah, there's our children, there's our family, but that we have a small family, honestly, we do. But
Mhm.
but when we got outside of that, like, it was just so much more. Just so many people need to know what was shared with us.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Whether they say yes or no, or listen or believe, or any of those terms, that's up to them. We just know, for us, if we share the message, we have done our due diligence to at least cast some light.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
We feel it's our ethical responsibility to
yeah,
share.
I feel that. I feel
Mhm.
that. It's kind of like the service engine light that I was telling you about the other night, um, because I know that when I first met both of you, I had the honor of meeting Terry first, and then met Fernando. Um, when I first met y'all, and I started to understand, what it is that you do, and started to see things that I had never heard about.
Mhm.
See it right there written, like, this is how it works. This is the back end that people aren't educated about. But hearing all that, it brought me up to that service engine light that I was talking to you about in my car. So many of us are conditioned. We see that service engine light, and we know, okay, well, we don't have the money to get it fixed right now, but we'll get it fixed when we get the money. So subconsciously seeing that service engine light and choosing to ignore it, it kind of creates a program.
Fact, yeah.
It creates this like, put it off, I can't do it, put it off because I can't do it. And when I was hearing how effective and how powerful the financial education you shared with me
Mhm.
is, I'm just like, wow, there really is no need to stay with that service engine light on my own finances.
Right.
um we so many of us, I know that a lot of us on this listening right now and that's going to listen to the replay, can relate to having that service engine light on your finances and on your bank account. Like, something is wrong, something's off, needs
Right.
service. um but with the right education, with the right understanding, with the right knowledge, then it's very clear that that's not a necessity. That's not a necessity for people to struggle, for anyone that's listening to struggle financially for the rest of your lives.
Correct.
I know me personally, I come from, work your ass off, at the job, at a job that provides your benefits and blah blah blah, but you just work your ass off until the day you die, physically, that kind of thing. And I've seen my parents, like, it's taken a big toll on both of their bodies, having to put on all those hours to really get a horrible ROI back,
Yeah.
all the time invested, and ROI barely makes ends meet, so understanding that we were kind of robbed of the information that really is there.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to someone that it may be thinking like, well, what is this interesting thing, and how do I get in contact? How do I learn more? How do I, jump in and at least just learn what I don't know? Because that's really important, to know what you don't know,
Yeah.
Right. No, I always tell people, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Yesterday I had a great conversation with a real estate broker and real estate investor, and he's like, yeah, I need to take care of me and my kids so that I can take care of others, right? And I can take care of my dad, is because my dad worked 30, 40 years of his life, and he's living off 1080, I think, about 1080 social security.
Wow.
Like, I don't want that.
Wow.
Like, I can't do that. Like, he was sick, and he said he didn't want to bother me, but dad, like, I don't know how long we have. So it just, piggybacking what you said, the financial literacy is not taught in schools. I wish it is, right? The first thing when kids turn 18, what do they get offered in the mail? I told my son, but I hate it, right? Because what is it? It's offer for a credit card debt.
Yeah.
How do you make your money compound or work for you? Why don't we talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
That, how can you make your dollar double over time? So do
Absolutely.
you know how to? That's why people cannot get out of debt, is because they don't know the compound effect, the compound interest rule, right? It's not
Albert
taught in
Einstein,
schools,
this is
right?
the eighth wonder of the world, right?
Absolutely. Yes. So just imagine if they learned that in school.
Yeah.
Or
How about spending the same dollar twice in
Yeah.
two different places, and it still being there afterwards?
Now that's a mind twister,
Yeah.
and so let's can we elaborate on that a little bit? Because that's a mind twister for most people. I know that even now I'm still understanding it, but I mean, like, why is it that it is I guess the better question is, how does one get into this? How does one learn how to be able to spend $1 here and $1 here and still have the same dollar? Like, how does one get into that with using interest and that kind of thing?
Well, there's lots of strategies. Like what I said yesterday, we had this conversation. I said, "Wow, how come my advisor didn't talk to me about it? And how come my CPA didn't talk to me about it?" Well, they're wonderful people. We do what we do, but
Right.
we're strategists, right? We teach people and leverage other people's money,
Right.
right? So we love that, and
Yeah.
we leverage, our dollars and making it work for us, and not having to give majority of it to the government.
Mhm.
I hope that. But I mean, we
No,
are
I feel that.
we are okay paying our fair share.
Right.
But if you could use the same dollar twice and not having to pay taxes,
Exactly.
why wouldn't you do that, right? They said,
100%.
how come they don't teach this, in school? Well, sometimes people don't, like, well, let's go back to people don't know what they don't know. There's lots of clients of ours who are super wealthy, that when we talk about this strategy,
They get it.
they get it. Like,
Mm.
we just had, like, we're talking about 6-figure, 7-figure savings. So they said, how come people are not doing it? They haven't talked to us, right?
Yeah.
So or the banks really don't talk about it. The banks are in the business of loaning money, right?
Right.
Like, just imagine these people. We save our money in the bank. Let's just say, like, we bank at a bank, and we have our own savings there, and then we apply for the same credit card from that bank. So guess what? I'm borrowing my own money. They're
Right.
giving me 0.01%.
Yep.
And then they're charging me $22 on my money.
Yep.
22% on my own money.
Right.
Right. So just imagine that. So we're doing the same exact thing It's just that these strategies are mandated by the state, of course, and the federal government, but it has to make sure it's done correctly. So if they want to know, they just gotta reach out to us. I don't know if I could say.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead. Like, so
yeah.
how do we get a hold of you? You
Yeah,
know, like
so
what do we do?
my phone number is 831-254-6030. That's my mobile number. I guess that's a mistake. No, but we also have an office. It's what's our office number? We rarely use it.
Yeah, everyone always calls our cell phones. You know, like
Yeah.
they're always ringing. You know, like we're not ones that hide. You know, we're really out there. But
So our office number is 972-418-2969, and we have our office in Frisco, Texas. If you're a Cowboys fan,
Yeah.
we are right next
we're right
Get 'em,
next to their
boys.
training facility. Yeah, we're right next to their training facility.
Yes.
So we're by the Dallas Star. So that's where they can find us.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know,
And we
it's,
provide a complimentary consultation, over Zoom or over phone calls. Like, we work in 18 states right now. We actually has just expanded today in Louisiana. We just expanded over the weekend in Illinois. We've already expanded in Ohio. We have offices in California. We're excited. Texas is amazing, right?
it is.
So
Hooey!
so yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we're licensed in many different states. So if they'd like to know more about the concepts that we teach, we'd love to give them those information.
I love
It'll be
that.
our honor.
I would actually I do. I say to everybody that's listening, if you didn't catch that number, replay it, hit the rewind and really reach out, because this information, everybody, really hear me. This information is so pivotal to changing your own game. Because like you were saying earlier, with the way that the banking system is working, what is set up, the way that you have your money in there, and you might make maybe a 0.1%, you might get that. But then again, they're making money hand over fist by investing your money that's
Mhm.
sitting in the bank, by day trading it, in the currency market globally.
Mhm.
So they're making this ridiculous amount of money on your money, but you're not getting any of that, right? So understanding how and I'm not talking about anything in the currency market, but I'm talking about understanding how you can have your money make money just like the banks are doing.
Yep.
That's so game changing,
Right.
That's so game changing to every single family household, because you become your own central bank. You become the thing or the person that makes the difference. Fernando was talking about before we got on the air about being a first generation entrepreneur, changing the game for the second generation, third generation, fourth generation that comes after you. That's what we're talking about here, creating legacy that's something that your kids, grandkids, and all that can reap benefits of, to learn.
Absolutely.
What would you say to anybody that is skeptical about anything new, like a new way of understanding money? What would you say?
All I could say, we were very skeptical too, because again, we didn't know any better. But being skeptical, I I feel like is worse than being scammed.
Mm,
Because when you're scammed once, and you can get back from get off from
right. You
I mean, recover
recuperate.
from
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But if you're skeptical, you just literally
Yeah.
robbed yourself your whole life
Yeah,
from the
it's like a
information you should
form
be
of
learning.
purgatory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It means-
I feel that.
yeah.
Hmm.
I feel that, and there's a lot of things that I mean, I've had my own experience with that, super, super skeptical about, that ended up being really, really amazing opportunities that, because I was skeptical at the time.
And we can
And
provide the books too
Yeah.
that were written, what FDIC allows, and these are the things that what banks are doing that we share with people,
Yeah.
right? So
the truth about what's actually going on with money,
right,
that's the brass tacks of it, the truth about money,
right.
and your own personal finances. I mean, wow. So in ending, we're about 19 seconds. So any ending quotes, anything that you want to leave everybody with?
I would just like to firstly thank you, but also to everyone listening. Don't don't steal from yourself. And what do I mean by that is don't steal from yourself from having the opportunity to be somewhere better than where you are now. You might not be at the best place or the worst place, but don't rob yourself from holding yourself back from going good to great.
And for me, today is going to be yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be today.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about it? Right.
Ooh, that is good. That is so good. What a beautiful ending to the show. Our music isn't rolling in like it usually is, but guys, I want to thank you one more time for being on the show and sharing your love, sharing your passion. It's obvious by the words that you speak and just your eyes, it's beaming. So we'll have you on again. Again, I appreciate you. For everybody that's listening, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Let's go.